Roll4Crit.com presents How to Play Ancient Terrible Things in 5 minutes or less or more. Ancient Terrible Things is the pulp mystery dice rolling press your luck game that in fact features things both terrible and ancient. See here. Designed by Simon McGregor and published by Pleasant Company Games. The goal of the game is to acquire the most ancient secrets, otherwise known as points. You will gain points with the help of encounter cards and certain swag cards. Here's how it plays. To start, you'll choose a character, receive a character pawn, some starting tokens, and a few feat cards. One player will receive the map token, which is worth 1 point at the end of the game and determines who is the starting player. On your turn, you can move your character to any of the 6 locations on the board that currently have an encounter card on them. At the start of the game, that will be all 6. Each location will have a token or 2 based on its encounter, which you get to take as soon as you move there. Each location also has a unique action, which you may then perform. The accursed shrine and the rusted gun sloop let you choose between one of 2 token types to take and add to your collection. At the ghastly gorge, discard feat cards and to draw new ones to replace them. The sinister chateau lets you trade any one of your resource tokens for one belonging to another player. At the crumbling ruin, you can take the map piece from the player who is currently holding it, and at the yawning chasm, you get to perform a desperate act, which is something I'll explain right now. Normally, in order to overcome encounter cards, you'll be rolling dice, but you may also find yourself in possession of courage tokens. If you have enough courage tokens to spend on a card, you can overcome it without having to roll a thing by spending that number of those tokens, the cost being the score value in the upper left corner of the card. This is what is known as a desperate act. Now, the yawning chasm space lets you perform a desperate act on any other encounter card in a different location before continuing with your turn as its action. But if you're done taking your location action and you don't want to perform a desperate act, then you will roll 5 green dice in an attempt to overcome the encounter card at that location the old-fashioned way. Each encounter card has a different requirement for you to beat it. For example, you may need to roll a pair of dice showing the same number of a minimum value of 3. Or you might need a straight run from 2 through 6. Read the card and find out. If you didn't roll what you wanted the first time around, that's okay, because you get 2 rerolls. You can either A, reroll everything all at once, or B, spend green focus tokens to only reroll a specific number of the dice. If making a focused reroll, you spend 1 token for each die you roll this way. In either case, it counts as one of the 2 rerolls you get on your turn. If you succeed, you get to take the encounter card. It's worth the number of points indicated in the upper left corner, and it will have 1 or more encounter type symbols. If at any point in the game you have 3 or more cards with the same symbol in your possession, you receive the appropriate achievement card, which is worth points at the end of the game. However, if someone else ever has more cards of that type later on, they steal the achievement from you, and so on. If you had any dice left over after spending what you had to beat the encounter, you can use them to get some extra resources according to this handy guide. If you failed to overcome an encounter this turn, you must take the lowest available terrible thing token. These are worth negative points at the end of the game, 1 for each tentacle visible. Undefeated encounters are sent to the rumors pile. You also have feat cards, which can be played at any time on your turn except the final refresh phase. These are special powers which can affect your dice rolls or other aspects of the game, but you usually have to spend a certain number of blue feat tokens in order to play them. Finally, you'll take your character to the trading post, where you'll have the option of purchasing 1 or more swag cards with treasure tokens. If you'd like, you can move 1 card into the old stockpile and draw a new one to replace it, or you can spend 2 treasure tokens to clear out all 3 for new ones. Card cost is indicated in the upper right, and you can even buy the top card of the old stockpile if you want. Swag cards, once purchased, go face up in front of you and have helpful effects, some affecting dice rolls, others affecting scores, some needing to be exhausted after use. When your turn's done, draw back up to 3 feat cards, refresh any swag cards if necessary, and move to the next player. At the end of the round, whoever has the map token goes first. If at the start of a player's turn all the location spaces are empty, then you deal out 6 new encounter cards along with the appropriate tokens. If the entire encounter deck runs out, or if you run out of terrible thing tokens, then the game ends. Count up your points and see who won. In conclusion, explore locations, spend tokens, roll dice, re-roll dice, do things. Ancient and or terrible, preferably. That's Ancient Terrible Things in a nutshell. Did you get all that?